Now that we've created this file, let's take a moment to look at the Animate user interface and make sure you understand how to navigate and get around. We're going to start looking at the top here. These are your drop-down menus. So whenever you hear me referring to your drop-down menus, I'm talking about these in here. If you're moving down and you see there's a little arrow, that means there's going to be some more options and an additional drop-down menu off to the right. So you have your View drop-down, Insert, Modify, Text, Commands, Control, Debug, Window, and Help. You can get out here and go look at some help options out on adobe.com. So there's that. That's your drop-down menu. This, again, is your stage. This white area here is the stage. Off here, anything outside this white area is called the pasteboard or the pasteboard area. So anything that appears on the stage when you publish or export your animation for viewing, anything that's actually on the white section will show up in the animation. Anything that's off here in the pasteboard area, when you export it, you won't see that in your final animation. Only what's on the actual stage. Down here we have the timeline, and the timeline is where we can control our animations, our motion, our tweens, changing colors, interacting with different elements or objects on the stage. That's all going to happen down here in the timeline. Over here to the right, you're going to have your panels. Right now we've looked at the properties panel previously. We have a library panel. Right now nothing's in it, but we'll be creating some things to put in the library panel. If you click on any of these, it'll pop open these panels as well. I'm just clicking on them for now, just so you see. They're sitting out there ready for us to use. Over here on the right, you have your tools panel. There's all of the tools. If I hit this double-sided arrow right here, it'll collapse those for me. If I click it again, it will show me those tools. I can hold my mouse down and drag it to the right, and it will turn it into a 2-column display for this particular tools panel. If I drag it back, it'll turn it back into 1. I'm going to actually turn it into 2 because it'll make it a little bit easier for you to see the things that we're going to be working on. So whenever I choose a tool over here, in the Properties panel, it's going to show me the options for that tool. So if I go to Paintbrush, shows me in the Properties panel all of the options for Paintbrush. If I go to the Pencil tool, the same thing. So whatever I click on over here, the options for that particular tool will show up in the Properties panel. If I click back, I'm going to get the Move tool again. If I click back on the stage, it'll show me the properties for the stage. So you have tools, different panels here. Properties reflect whatever tool you're clicking on, or if you're clicking on the stage. We looked previously at these are quick ways to view your document. And let's say you're trying to find a window or panel that is just not there. So let's say that's the case, you can't find something. If you come up here and click on Window, every window or panel that's available for you is sitting right out here for you to click on. So for example, if we want to go to the brush library, if we click on it, it'll open up the brush library for us. So we can take that and move it over to a new location if we want. I'm going to dock it right there. So now I've got Properties, Library, and Brush Library. I can bring it back off, and if I decide I'm not going to need it anymore, I just click on it and I can close it back up. So that's our basic user interface that you need to make sure you understand. If I want to set everything back, I can come over here to the workspace and reset Essentials, and it puts everything back the way it was before I started monkeying around with it. I do want this back to a double-sided or 2-columned tool settings. Okay, I hope that answers some basic questions for you about your Animate user interface and what all of these different panels mean.